The ocean hides its secrets beneath a restless, shimmering surface. And among these secrets swims a predator that has haunted human imagination for centuries, the great white shark. For decades, scientists and storytellers alike have painted it as a relentless, mindless hunter, a torpedo of teeth and muscle that strikes without strategy or pause. But what if everything we thought we knew about this apex predator was wrong? What if the very essence of its hunting behavior had been misunderstood, cloaked in myths and assumptions? Tonight, we embark on a journey into the depths, into the unseen world of the great white, to uncover a truth far stranger and far more astonishing than the tales told on the silver screen. Great white sharks inhabit the cold temperate waters of the planet's oceans, from the rugged coasts of South Africa to the kelp forests of California and the remote waters off Australia. They patrol the interface between the open ocean and coastal shallows, where their prey, seals, sea lions, and a variety of fish gather in numbers. But their environment is not a simple hunting ground. It is a three-dimensional, ever-changing seascape, full of currents, thermoclines, and shadows. Here, the water itself becomes a labyrinth, a medium in which stealth and precision are more valuable than brute force. These sharks are colossal, often exceeding 6 meters in length, yet they move with an elegance that belies their size. Their bodies are sculpted by evolution, a torpedo-like form that minimizes drag, powerful tail muscles that allow sudden bursts of speed, and a caudal fin that can propel them in astonishing accelerations. But beneath this exterior lies a suite of biological adaptations that science has only begun to unravel. One of the most fascinating is their sensory arsenal. The great white senses are not just acute, they are almost alien. Their eyes, designed for low light, can detect subtle contrasts even in murky water. Their hearing can pick up low-frequency vibrations across miles, allowing them to sense the panic of a fleeing seal long before it reaches the surface. And then there is the infamous ampullae of Lorenzini, a network of electroreceptors along their snouts, capable of detecting the faint electrical fields produced by the heartbeat of prey hidden beneath sand or rock. It is a sensory system that borders on the supernatural, yet it is profoundly practical, a tool honed by millions of years of evolution to decode the hidden signatures of life in the ocean. For years, scientists believed great whites hunted by charging from below, using sheer speed and surprise to break the necks of seals in explosive attacks. Documentaries have shown dramatic breaches from the depths, a cascade of water and fur as a shark ascends like a missile from the shadows. These images shaped a narrative, that of a solitary predator driven by instinct and raw power. But recent research is forcing a re-evaluation. The truth, as it turns out, is far more complex and intellectually compelling. Observations made with drones, underwater cameras, and tagging technology have revealed behaviors that challenge conventional wisdom. Rather than mindless aggression, great whites exhibit patience, observation, and calculated timing. In the waters off Seal Island in South Africa, researchers watched as sharks approached their prey not in a single explosive lunge, but through a series of measured, almost tactical movements. They would circle, sometimes for hours, adjusting their position according to currents, wind direction, and even the behavior of individual seals. It was hunting not as an act of brute force, but as a sophisticated exercise in strategy, a dance of predator and prey choreographed by the invisible laws of physics and biology. One of the most surprising discoveries came from accelerometer tags attached to the shark's dorsal fins. These devices, capable of recording speed, orientation, and force, revealed that great whites often slow down as they approach their prey, modulating their speed in ways that conserve energy while maximizing stealth. Rather than an all-or-nothing assault, these sharks appear to employ a form of ambush that is carefully calibrated. The timing of the strike, the angle of approach, and the moment of acceleration are all optimized, refined perhaps over decades of learning from the environment and the prey themselves. There are moments when the shark's behavior seems almost ritualistic. In the early morning mist, a shark may linger beneath a floating seal, barely moving, its eyes fixed, its muscles tensed but relaxed. Then, in a sudden burst, it may dart upward, breaking the surface with a precision that could be described as elegance in motion. Scientists have noted that these bursts are not merely about speed, they are about maximizing the chance of success while minimizing risk. A poorly executed attack could result in injury, wasted energy, or even losing a meal to a rival. In this sense, the great white is not a mindless killer, but a predator deeply attuned to probability, physics, and risk assessment. Another aspect of their hunting strategy involves cooperation, an idea that seemed unthinkable for decades. While often portrayed as solitary hunters, observations have shown that great whites sometimes engage in behaviors that resemble coordinated hunting. Off the Farallon Islands, groups of sharks have been seen taking turns in herding schools of fish, driving them toward one another or toward shallow waters where capture is easier. The exact mechanisms behind this coordination are still poorly understood, but it challenges the notion that sharks are purely solitary. It suggests a level of behavioral flexibility, an ability to adapt and modify tactics according to environmental conditions and prey behavior. These discoveries have profound implications for our understanding of predator-prey dynamics in marine ecosystems. Great whites are apex predators, shaping populations and behaviors of countless other species. Their hunting strategies are not just about survival, they influence the distribution of seals, the migration patterns of fish, and even the behavior of other sharks. They are architects of the underwater environment, wielding influence with precision rather than brute force. Yet, the great white's biology also imposes limitations, constraints that shape their hunting style in ways we are only beginning to grasp. Despite their size and power, they cannot maintain high speeds indefinitely. Their muscle fibers are adapted for sudden bursts, not sustained pursuit. This means that patience, stealth, and strategic positioning are essential for survival. Sharks that fail to master these strategies may starve, regardless of their strength. Evolution has sculpted not just their bodies, but their behavior, forcing them into a form of intellectual hunting as well as physical prowess. Even their teeth, often portrayed as simple weapons of destruction, tell a more nuanced story. Each serrated tooth is designed to cut efficiently, not just to grab. When combined with a specific biting technique, the shark can remove chunks of flesh with minimal struggle. But the timing, angle, and placement of each bite are not random, they are part of a learned, almost surgical approach to feeding. Observations of injured or orphaned sharks suggest that these techniques are honed through experience, a form of behavioral learning that defies the stereotype of instinct alone. As we peel back the layers of the great white's hunting behavior, it becomes clear that the ocean has been keeping a secret from us. What we assumed was raw instinct is often subtle intelligence. What we took for mindless violence is actually an intricate balance of physics, biology, and environmental awareness. Every approach, every decision, and every strike is a lesson in efficiency, survival, and adaptation. And yet, the story is far from complete. There are still mysteries that baffle scientists. How do great whites decide which prey to pursue and which to ignore? How much of their hunting strategy is learned versus instinctive? Do they communicate or signal in ways we cannot yet detect? And perhaps most intriguingly, what unseen pressures in the deep ocean have driven the evolution of such precision predators? Each question opens a new doorway into the unknown, reminding us that the ocean's depths are not just vast, they are filled with puzzles that challenge our understanding of life itself. Even more astonishing are the instances when great whites seem to display behaviors previously thought impossible for a predator of their size. Some individuals have been observed using currents and underwater topography to ambush prey from angles that defy expectation. In other cases, sharks have been recorded altering their hunting depth based on the temperature and oxygen content of the water, a subtle adjustment that suggests a sophisticated awareness of their environment. These are not mere reflexes, they are adaptive strategies, refined by evolution and experience alike. In the grand tapestry of life beneath the waves, the great white shark emerges not as a simple terror, but as a master of survival, a strategist whose mind and body are perfectly attuned to the challenges of its world. Yet, for all we know, we have only glimpsed the surface of their capabilities. There are behaviors, patterns, and secrets that remain hidden in the murky depths, waiting for technology, patience, and curiosity to uncover them. And so, the great white continues to patrol the edges of our understanding, a living reminder that the ocean is a realm of mystery, where every shadow may conceal a story, every ripple a revelation. The more we learn, the more we realize how little we truly know. This is not merely a predator, it is a testament to the subtlety and sophistication of evolution, a creature whose every move is a lesson in the art of survival. And as our drones, cameras, and tags reveal more of their hidden lives, one fact becomes clear. The story we once told about great white sharks was incomplete, a half-truth shaped by fear and spectacle rather than understanding. The hunt is not chaotic. It is a study in timing, patience, and intelligence. And the ocean, in all its vastness, is the stage on which this drama unfolds, an ancient theater of strategy, risk, and astonishing adaptation. Beneath the surface, beyond the reach of sunlight, lies a world where survival demands more than strength. It requires adaptation honed over millions of years. The great white shark is not merely a modern predator. It is the culmination of an evolutionary saga that stretches back over 16 million years. Ancestors of the great white once roamed ancient seas, shaped by the shifting contours of continents, fluctuating climates, and the rise and fall of marine megafauna. Fossilized teeth, jagged and powerful, tell a story of predators learning to dominate complex ecosystems long before humans ever glimpsed them. These ancestors were not identical to the sharks we know today. Early white sharks were smaller, often opportunistic feeders, scavenging and ambushing prey opportunistically. Yet over time, natural selection sculpted bodies capable of sustained bursts of speed, sensory systems exquisitely tuned to detect prey at a distance, and brains that could process environmental cues with remarkable efficiency. The modern great white is a product of this lineage, a predator that carries the imprint of evolutionary pressures across millennia. Every anatomical feature, from the streamlined fuselage of its body to the serrated edges of its teeth, is a testament to adaptation and survival. Even the great white's hunting techniques echo evolutionary strategy. Its ambush tactics, once misunderstood as random bursts of aggression, mirror the strategies of other apex predators in the animal kingdom. Wolves, for instance, employ coordination, patience, and the exploitation of terrain to subdue prey. Birds of prey, too, utilize stealth, speed, and timing to catch targets by surprise. In this sense, the great white is no outlier. It is part of a continuum of predatory intelligence, a species whose behaviors have converged on the most efficient solutions to the challenges of hunting in a dynamic environment. The shark's interaction with its ecosystem underscores this role. As an apex predator, the great white wields influence far beyond its immediate meals. Seal populations are shaped by its presence, altering their breeding locations, swimming patterns, and feeding behaviors. Fish schools adjust their formations to avoid the telltale approach of a shadowy predator. Even other shark species, hammerheads, bronze whalers, and tiger sharks, modify their movements in response to white shark activity. The ocean is, in essence, a theater choreographed by the silent, calculating presence of this apex hunter. Yet, the ecological narrative is not simple. Great whites are also vulnerable to changes wrought by humans and climate. Overfishing, pollution, and warming seas disrupt their prey, forcing sharks to adapt or perish. Observations indicate shifts in hunting grounds, altered migration routes, and changes in prey selection, revealing the species' remarkable, but not infinite, capacity for flexibility. They are apex predators, yes, but they are also witnesses to a rapidly changing ocean, responding in real time to pressures that have no historical precedent. Even the mysteries of their social behavior remain largely unsolved. While some solitary hunting strategies are well documented, evidence suggests that great whites may engage in subtle forms of social hierarchy, where size, experience, and even personality influence access to prey. Off the coast of Guadalupe Island, tagged sharks have been observed returning to precise locations in predictable patterns, sometimes waiting for hours in proximity to other individuals, yet rarely clashing. This behavior hints at a structured system of tolerance, perhaps even an unspoken code among predators that balances competition with opportunity. Intriguingly, some scientists propose that great whites may possess cultural transmission, learning not just from experience, but from observing the behaviors of others. This challenges the traditional view of sharks as purely instinct-driven. If true, it would mean that knowledge of hunting, optimal routes, and environmental cues could be passed from generation to generation, shaping populations in ways previously thought impossible for a fish. It suggests a cognitive sophistication that, until recently, humans rarely credited to sharks. But for all the knowledge gained, the ocean continues to withhold its deepest secrets. How do great whites navigate across thousands of kilometers with such precision? Some evidence points to geomagnetic sensing, allowing them to detect subtle variations in Earth's magnetic field. Others suggest an internal mapping system, combining sensory input with memory, akin to a mental GPS. These capabilities enable seasonal migrations spanning continents, linking breeding grounds, feeding areas, and nursery sites across vast, featureless expanses of ocean. And then there are the unexplained behaviors, sharks leaping onto boats without obvious reason, or approaching divers with what appears to be curiosity rather than aggression. Scientists debate whether these acts reflect individual intelligence, exploratory behavior, or sensory misinterpretation of stimuli. Each incident reinforces a single truth: we have yet to comprehend the full extent of their cognitive world. Research continues to reveal that their sensory world is far richer than human perception can easily grasp. The ampullae of Lorenzini allow detection of electrical impulses so faint that a buried seal's heartbeats are like beacons in the sand. Their lateral line detects minute vibrations, turning the water itself into a landscape of motion. And their vision, adapted to the play of light at different depths, enables tracking even in low-contrast conditions. In combination, these senses create a multidimensional map of the environment, enabling hunting strategies that are calculated, precise, and, until recently, unimagined. It is a humbling reminder that the great white shark exists in a realm largely beyond human comprehension. We have studied, tagged, filmed, and theorized, yet each discovery seems to uncover a deeper layer of mystery. For every behavior explained, a dozen more remain enigmatic. The ocean is not static. It is alive with currents, chemical cues, and shifting prey populations, all interacting in ways that challenge even our most sophisticated models. In this living laboratory, the great white operates with a mastery that science is only beginning to decode. Ultimately, the story of the great white shark is a story of survival, adaptation, and intelligence. It is a testament to the intricate balance of ecosystems and the subtle interplay between predator and prey. It forces us to question our assumptions, to recognize that the narrative of mindless aggression is incomplete, and to appreciate that sophistication can emerge in even the most fearsome of creatures. As the sun sets over the ocean, painting the waves in gold and crimson, a lone great white glides silently through the depths. It is not a creature of myth or terror. It is an evolutionary masterpiece, a strategist, a sentinel of the sea. Its presence reminds us that the ocean still holds countless secrets, and that understanding often begins with humility, curiosity, and the willingness to look beyond what we think we know. The great white shark continues its patrol, a living paradox of beauty and danger, simplicity and complexity. Each movement, each calculated strike, each patient observation is a lesson written in the language of evolution. And as humans peer into the deep with cameras, drones, and instruments, we are only beginning to read this language, to glimpse the intelligence, strategy, and subtle genius of a predator that has survived, adapted, and thrived for millions of years. In the end, our understanding of the great white is less a conclusion than an invitation, a call to explore, to question, and to marvel at the hidden wonders of the ocean. For every myth dispelled, every assumption overturned, we are reminded that the ocean is not a place of emptiness, but a living, breathing world of strategy, survival, and mystery. And within that world swims one of its most formidable inhabitants, the great white shark, a creature that teaches us, above all, the art of patience, precision, and profound curiosity.